Has it ever happened to you that sometimes from time to time or once in a while, when you got feeling, you're feeling like, I don't know, something very specifically, like either like anger, or you're very mad at someone, or because of certain situation you're just very, very mad, it's something very uncomfortable that it's always there. Has it happened to you just like it stays there unless you talk about it, and then once you talk about it, or you're just like, hey, this is the problem, this is what's going on, and you say it, and then you're fine, you're like, it feels liberating, right? Speak up. Do not consume yourself in your own feelings. And that's something I want to talk about today, because I think it's an issue that happens to many people. It has happened to me so many times, but every time I try to cope with my feelings in a different way than just like hiding them, or just like avoiding them and making it look like nothing's happening, like actually trying to ignore those feelings. Every time that happens, it's really, really bad. Like you feel something's not right, something's not good. So it's necessary, almost mandatory, to speak up, just to talk about your emotions, like let them go, let them flow, let them talk about that. And with this, I do not mean just to bother everybody and just be talking about your feelings all the time and be like super emotional person or anything. No, it's not about that. It's more about like learning how to cope with your feelings in a healthy way. And part of that is to expressing those feelings, those emotions. If you don't do it, or many people don't do it, sometimes like even it happened to me as well, sometimes like in certain times, situations in your life when, like I said before, yeah, it could be, happens very often when you're very mad at someone. I'm very mad at this person did this and that, and it's really, really hard to keep moving forward with your life without expressing that feeling. Like it makes you feel uneasy and it's mad, and not until you say it, then you start feeling better, and then you're like, okay, maybe I'm not mad anymore. Many people think that maybe expressing your feelings and talking about that or doing that means weakness, and if you do that, then you're a weak person, or you're like exposing yourself too much, or you're bothering other people with the things that they do not care about or whatever. So you can put all the reasons you want for that, but I'm gonna show you and explain to you based on my experience as well, and what I have read and what I have also shared with other people as well, like from my own point of view, very humble point of view, 5 reasons why it's necessary, for me even mandatory, to speak up and don't consume yourself in your own feelings and emotions. So the first reason to do it is because usually when you got your feelings and you feel that way, so let's say you're very mad or you're very sad. Usually when you have those very strong feelings and emotions, they take a huge part in your whole life, in your whole body, in your whole soul, in your mind as well, because it takes a lot of energy from you, and you start thinking about that all the time, even if you don't want to, because it makes part of yourself, like it belongs, it starts belonging to you little by little, and if you are not, or if you don't cope with them the right way, they start owning your life. So expressing those emotions and just like coping with them the right way, it lifts so much weight from your shoulders, like from your whole body. And at the same time, it makes a lot of space, like a huge space that they used to occupy in your life. And like I said before, you have like your energy towards that, like the attention towards that. Like once you just like let that go and then you express that and deal with it, cope with it in a healthy way, then that like lifts your body, like that weight drops, and that's so liberating. That's very helpful. That's just something that makes you feel lighter. Like you were lifting, I don't know how many kilos, like sadness, or because you're mad as well, like holding like so many things and carrying that thing, like all those emotions the whole time in your life for weeks, for months, for years, And every time, like the longer it stays, it becomes bigger, bigger, and bigger. Like the more roots it grows in your body, in your life. So when you drop it, you cope with it, you just drop it. And it's such a huge weight leaving your body. Like, it's liberating, it's life-changing. And when you start doing that more often, like with more emotions, more different situations that you face in the real life and in the daily life, the better you're gonna be at coping with those feelings, the better you're gonna feel, the lighter you're gonna feel, and the easier it's gonna be for you also to deal with it, to learn how to do it. The second reason is to resolve the situation. So let's say that you have, I don't know, sadness, you're very sad because of something, or you're very mad, or even when you're very happy as well. Like, it's also like good. Usually when it's something good, you talk about it and you are like just like shouting it out loud to everybody, or you cannot really hide it that much. But when it's sadness, when it's frustration, when it's like, well, different kind of feelings that we tend to hide, frustration is one of them. Feeling failure as well. So understanding that is very important. And of course, like when you think about it, and then when you just like express that, like you talk about it, it could be with someone else, or maybe just write it down, or you find a way to really like look at the emotion, at the feeling, at that what you're feeling right now, or at that time, at that moment, from above, from a different perspective. So you're going to be able to see it, to understand it, and maybe if it's a problem that you're dealing with, you're going to be able to find a solution. You're going to be able to understand, okay, why am I feeling like this? What is going on? Am I feeling actually sad, or is it mad, or what's actually going on? So expressing that, like letting it out, it helps you understand the situation a lot better. If you understand it, of course, it's going to help you mostly to find a solution for that's happening, whatever is happening at that moment. If there's no solution for that, or I mean, like, of course, the solution, but if there's no need for a solution, if just like something that's going on, you're just happy, or you're just like going through something, need to understand what. Then like to not to own those feelings, not to let those feelings or emotions control your life. When you don't say anything about that, when you don't express it, like they keep in your body, in your soul, in your mind the whole time, and they control you. Like kind of like every movement, every time, like when you're gonna do something like that, kind of like belongs to you and makes part of you. So if you express it, let it out, and talk about it, so helps a lot. Number 3 is to encourage and find empathy. So I like this point very much, because sometimes one reason for not like expressing our feelings is we don't want to bother other people, or we just feel like nobody's going through a similar situation, we feel kind of like misunderstood or whatever. But when you find a way to express that, usually if it's with someone else, it doesn't have to be your friends, like you don't want to bother your friends for that, but maybe you I'm sure like you might have someone you might share a certain kind of similar feeling or similar situation, and maybe you can talk about it. Or maybe you have a therapist, a psychologist, someone you really can talk about those things, or a family member, I don't know. Or you're just writing down, that helps a lot. But if it's with someone else, empathy comes out. Empathy shows itself as a very good tool to cope with those emotions. Because when you hear about other people's experiences, and then you're like, okay, maybe it's not just something that's happening to that person. I have felt that before, and I know exactly what that means. I know exactly how it feels like. And that really makes you feel like, okay, I'm not the only one in the whole world, in my life, that's going through a similar situation. Maybe you can also not just feel okay, you don't feel alone in that situation. That's something good. But also you can be like, okay, maybe this person used to do this to deal with that and it worked. I'm gonna try it out as well. So you can exchange tips, you can exchange and learn from other people as well. Take different points of view in order to help you out in whatever you need to understand or resolve in your life. When you're completely by yourself and really you have no way to find that empathy, that understanding with someone else, it's really tough, because then it feels like you are the only one in the world. And we as humans, we need this social learning, this social companion as well. It's very important for us to feel that we are not alone, that we're understood, not just that feel us just like that, but also to give that back. When you exchange that with someone else, you're like, okay, yeah, I understand my point of view, her or his point of view, or their point of view, and that enriches your life in also different kind of ways that is a lot better than when you do it all by yourself. Something similar that I can relate to is actually my situation in Germany, like I have told you before, and my unemployment situation. Okay, maybe the unemployment was very tough for me because I did not really want to talk about it. That was one of the big problems at that time as well. I did not talk about it. Everybody was asking hey, how are you doing? And I'm like, it's okay. That's it. I did not want to talk about it because it frustrated me so much. Maybe that was part of the problem at that time. Till finally, after so long, I got over it. But the last example was, for instance, my whole situation and experience here in Germany. So there was a point in my life where I felt I was the only person living that kind of situation. And I felt so alone. I was like, yeah, I'm here in Germany, no one understands me, just like Germans, they don't have that kind of life. They're never gonna understand me, and I'm never gonna feel like German because it's different kind of experience, so they're never going to be able to understand me, and that's how I felt. So that makes you feel kind of sad, kind of frustrated, kind of has different implications in your life. And I did not know at that time, actually not many people who were going through a similar situation. I did not talk about it either. So after a while, I met someone at work, and I started talking about those things. And actually, she was the one talking about those things first, and maybe that's why I was like, okay, let's talk about it. This is what happened to me. This is the situation I'm going through. This is what's going on. And she was sharing some similar experiences, and that really made me feel so liberated. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one in this kind of situation in Germany. So I felt a lot better, and that helped me cope with and understand the situation much better. With the time, I got to know more people going through a similar situation, and that change or exchange of experiences, point of views and stuff helped me a lot to cope with those emotions and to manage that feeling. So go from a frustrated mode to more empathy, understanding, and to a point where I feel a lot better, a lot more relaxed, not that mad anymore because of my situation and experience here in Germany. I'm more grateful, and I have learned to make use of different learnings from different people also to deal with it. Number 4, this one is really important, and actually that's the last reason I want to talk about. And it's the whole physical aspect in your life, liberating yourself, expressing your emotions, coping your emotions the best way is very healthy, is some of the best things you can do for your body. It improves your physical condition, and that's for sure. I don't know if you have noticed, but when you want to say something, you kind of have something here, in your throat that it cannot come out, you feel uneasy, you feel weird, you feel kind of you cannot be yourself, or you cannot be, you cannot just relax or be flexible, or just like, you cannot be authentic at the same time. It's and that really, that is reflected on your whole body, on how you are, and the way you look, the way you speak, the way you behave, the way you talk to people, everything. So in my case, like it has like influence in many areas of my life as well, and physically as well. You feel it, like you feel like more energy when you go over that time. When I was dealing with that other problem, I felt like heavy the whole time and tired, and everything was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it felt like really like a big weight, like so much weight that I was carrying on at that time, and dropping that, it really makes you feel different. Like, and I think in the long term it's even better, because in the long term, the more you store those feelings, those emotions, those things, that also like kind of stores in some part of your body, and it ends up showing up itself like in a kind of health problem or health issue, sometimes like with big health issues and problems like cancer, it could be, or different kind of conditions that are not nice. And the more you deal with your emotions and cope with them in a healthy way, the better it's going to be for your body as well. Something related to that, for example, is the stress. Everybody talks about stress and how that harmful that is for your body, how it affects your body in a negative way. Like the more stressed out you are, like the more you're gonna have like headaches and then feel tired, or it really has a lot of implications in your life. And if you feel maybe like a headache after like a few hours or a moment of having a lot of stress, can you not imagine the effect of those bad emotions in your body, in your soul, in your mind, but yeah, in your body, physical body, after days, weeks, months, years dealing with that? That's why many people get sick, and that's why I think it's very, very important. It's necessary to learn how to deal with that, and the better we get at it, the more we're going to be able to prevent those kind of health conditions or sickness, or those kind of physical situations that we do not really want to live in real life. Never, ever, ever. It's very hard, yeah, like it's very difficult to control everything and have everything perfect, and like, yeah, I have everything controlled, like my body's perfect. You cannot do that. But the more you work on it, the more you get better at it, you're gonna be able to prevent it in a better way. So I would really try it out. I have tried it like in most areas of my life, and I still try to keep coping with my emotions in a healthy way, because that's something that helps a lot, makes you feel better in all areas of your life, and it also gives you power. Like when you drop that weight, when you do not let your emotions control you, because you already dealt with them, they're not yours anymore, that you don't own your life, that you don't control your life. When you do that, you get power, you feel powerful, you feel different. You're a complete owner of your life. Isn't that not nice?